Hey guys, what's up? Today is Sunday and I'm in the shop. I am in the corner of the shop that you guys haven't really seen too much of. This is just the area where I have cleared off for my engine tear down and rebuild. I'm going to bring over some of the nice measuring tools that we have for this today, and we'll set those up and kind of go over some of those. But I just wanted to show you over here today because we're going to be doing a couple little projects that are not quite as related to the over fender, so this will be a separate video. This is going to be some fabrication of a drip tray. Here's my engine stand right here. We're going to make a drip tray that fits directly in the bottom of this, fills the whole area, because there's still quite a bit of fluid in here and I don't want to go buy one, and I can probably make one in all of about an hour. So we'll bend that up, weld up the corners, and get that thing all settled in there. As well as that, like I was saying, I cleaned this area up, cut a fresh piece of cardboard for the table, vacuumed the whole table. I've got my new pistons here, which I just ordered. These are for the motor. Got these only took about 2 weeks to get here, and these were custom made. These are a flat top piston out of 2618 material from JE. Here's a close-up on the card there. And these are for a 4.185 bore and the 1.178 compression height, and I just wanted to upgrade the piston to a better material and a better design, because right now the motor is about 12.6 to 1 compression, and with these new flat top pistons, I will put a picture of the pistons right here from my phone. Alright, and then so with my new pistons being a flat top now, this should be more like 14.1 to 1, which is a little bit better. It should only make like a difference of 20-25 horsepower just in compression, but I'm already running E85 exclusively on the car, so there's really no reason not to. It's just wasted potential if you're going to go ahead and do it. I was going to just pull the pistons that are in it now and gap them, but that was if I was going to run like a 200 shot or a 150 shot or something. But so today I'm going to go ahead and start taking some measurements for the engine stand base. I'm going to go ahead and get that all measured out on a sheet of paper here. Get all as close as I can get. Doesn't have to be to the 1/16 of an inch or even lower resolution. Just to be a good enough fit that I can overlap it, drop it in there, and it'll just be a nice part that I'll have for a long time. I'll probably make it out of stainless just so it never rusts and doesn't contaminate any oil that it doesn't have to if you ever want to reuse something. But the other project that we're going to do at the same time in this episode is going to be a stand. I want to make a stand for the table that is raised about 7 or so inches off the table, and it'll have 8 slots for all the pistons with all the etched positions that they come from. So as I start disassembling the motor, I can pull the piston and rod out the bore, drop it in the carrier for which cylinder it came out of, match up the main bearings and rod caps, have everything organized through that. And then I want to have a top layer bend come down at a 45 off of both sides, aligned with those bores, so I can keep the spark plugs from each cylinder. Alright guys, so we got our basic measurements for the engine stand drip tray. I've got them marked out right here if you want to make one for yourself. I believe this was an engine stand we just got from Harbor Freight, so it's probably the same for a lot of them. So it's 105 degrees in the corners, in the smallest corners. In the front, by the very front of the motor stand, it was 75 degrees. We were 30.5 inches from the front width on the inside. 28.5 inches is as far as we're going to go back. It's probably about a quarter inch from as you know, filling the full opening as you can. Same on both sides, and then it's a 15-inch spread from the front. From the front rails all the way around, we're going to come down 2.5 inches. That will come right above where the caster meets, so we don't run into that. And we're going to come 1.5 inches overhang, and that'll simply just give us a way to hang it on the cart. So it should be pretty straightforward. We'll go ahead and give that a shot, and I'm going to go ahead and draw that up right now, as well as the piston and rod stand, and we'll go ahead and cut both of them at once.
Started up the laser here. I needed to kick the NC controller on so I can send the program out to it. And once we have that done, we'll run over, grab our piece of material, and we'll go ahead and give this thing a shot, give it a cut. Once we get it cut, I'll have to set the brake up. It's going to be a decent amount of setup on the brake to get all those bends that I called out bent. So we'll get those all made, and by the end of it, we should have two pretty badass parts. Have a really awesome drip tray and have almost a sellable, you know, piston tray. I've seen a lot of the professional drag teams have them, and I mean, because they just have engine rooms full of spare parts, so they have all these little stands made. And I think it'd be pretty cool to be able to keep track of everything in a nice labeled environment. So give me about, well, it'll be 1 second for you. It'll be about a couple minutes for me. Gonna let the laser continue firing up, send the program, and then grab our material. All right, now what I'm gonna do is run in the office and grab the dimensions from where the drip tray starts, and I'm gonna cut back the laser paper in that area. That way, when it goes to etch the numbers on, it won't have as much to fight through, and you get a little bit clearer of an etch. Otherwise, it's really hard to see because it's a low wattage burn. So let me do that real quick. ahead and send this program off now. We should be good to go. There we go, ladies and gentlemen. We'll go ahead and send these parts out and check them out. Super clean cuts, no burrs. Set that right there. Same deal with that one, smooth as can be underneath. There's our nice piston holder with our spark plug organizers on the side walls. I got 2 holes on the end for a carry handle, which I will make later. But for right now, this thing turned out just about perfectly. Now we will go ahead and set up for the drip tray. Go. Got our big tray now. Got a couple little flex areas in the corners where it was kind of contacting the die. So all we're gonna have to do for those, squeeze it together and tack it up. So right now we're gonna go give it just a rough test fit on the engine stand. All right, guys. So I needed 2 hands to do it, so I went ahead and dropped it over. And now I grabbed the camera. I'll show you the fitment on the engine stand tray. Here we go. Are you ready? There we go. We got our little gap at the front that we left. Plenty of room in there for whatever fluid we end up dropping, coolant, oil, whatever. So the corners I just have to squeeze together and weld up. I think our fitment's pretty awesome. I mean, it's literally a snap fit. I'm very happy with that. All right, guys. So what I've done real quick is I took a piece of leftover 16 gauge from when we laser cut those parts, and I went ahead and I sheared it. Now what I've done is I've just marked the corners at 1 inch increments on length and width. And we're gonna run back here to our little corner notcher and just corner those out.
Ryan Little.
Yoga.
Alright guys, I wanted to show you the finished piston and rod stand. So I went ahead and I cut these pieces of tubing that I had with some pretty thick sidewall. I'm going to tap both ends of them once I get some bolts. I don't have any hardware right now that fits it exactly the way I want it to, but I went ahead and I cut these, and then I stuck the ends of them and squared them off in the mill we have over there with an end mill. So right now I'm just going to do a quick little mock-up setup here for you so you can just get an idea of what this thing will look like. That right there is our finished piston and rod stand. Just gonna go ahead and get some hardware for it, but I think it turned out pretty awesome. Got our spark plug holders all the way around, 2 sets it'll hold. We got our etched cylinder numbers, 1, 3, 5, and 7, and then 2, 4, 6, 8 on the other side. Piece of material wasn't perfect. I mean, I just used a piece of scrap that we had laying around, so it had a few scratches on it, but for the purpose that this will serve as, you know, a utilitarian part, I think it turned out pretty awesome. Couldn't really ask for much more, but you can see the holes line right up with the pieces of round bar we have, and that lines straight up through to the bottom. So what I'll do real quick is I'll grab a spark plug and show you how that fits in the hole. Should be a pretty good fit. Pull the one straight out of the engine. Look at that clean E85 life, how clean that electrode is. That's straight out of a 600 horsepower engine. So what we'll do here, get it right on screen. You can see I made it for the small size so that it just drops right through to the bottom, and there's almost no side to side play. It'll tear because that nut there has a little bit of a lip to it, but it's an exact fit there, so you can go ahead, drop your plugs in for the motor depending on which cylinder it came out of. For instance, this one came out of cylinder number 3, so I would just keep it there and do a plug change. Next time I go for, you know, plugs, I can set the second set right next to them, compare, see if there's any differences between the cylinder trims. Alright guys, so that's the idea. I just wanted to do a quick kind of a build series video on how, you know, I go about making something that I need around the shop, or something I just want to make for fun. These were kind of more for fun. The drip tray is something I definitely have been wanting to make for a while, and I'm very happy with how that's turned out. I mean, I think that looks like something you could just go ahead and buy, so I'm definitely happy with that. I'm going to peel the laser paper off of it. Excuse me. Peel the laser paper off of it, and then tack the corners up, and then I'll probably just, like I said, put 1 or 2 tacks in the corners, and then just take some oil resistant RTV and just seal up the corners. There's really no reason to weld it. It's just going to hold some drip fluid that comes out of an engine. So for right now, I think I'm going to end the video there. This will be like a midweek update between videos, so I hope you guys enjoyed, and I'll see you next week. Peace.